Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radio Dead Air Tech Q&A. You've got questions, we've got guesses. I'm Nash. I've been doing Radio Dead Air for ages, but I'm also an IT professional in addition to that. With me, as always, my producer, Mike Gearman, also works in IT. If you've got tech questions for us tonight, by all means, go ahead and send those to requests@radiodeadair.com. Also, if you're watching this on the YouTube, put it in the comments there. I can add those as well.
I mean, we are kind of full tonight, but
I'll take full. That means we got a show. I like having a show. So a couple things real quick. I'm sorry it's been the holidays kind of became the holidays. So we're just here for Tech Q&A tonight, though I will be doing some stuff tomorrow. We are going to have a Whimsy and Metaphor, thank you for 2 months. Appreciate you a bunch. Sapphire Cat, 78 months. Got a hype train going in the Twitch. Tomorrow, I got a viewer wanted me to build a guitar pedal for him. So we're doing a build stream tomorrow. It arrived. This one's actually not as custom as I normally get it, but I want to show this one off. This is from a company called Aeon FX. And their kits are really good because they are they're kind of, if you get their complete kit, they have like individual PCBs so you can do custom stuff, but their complete kits are really good because pretty much anybody can do them. And it's gonna be nice to show that off. So I'm gonna be assembling this tomorrow. Also, Crystal Fraser.
By the way, that's AION, not how any other way you might have been spelling it.
Yeah. The other one is Crystal Fraser. She is a friend of mine on the social medias, and she's also a writer, and she's done some Marvel stuff. She's very cool. She sent along something nice for the holidays to help out the show a little bit. I've been wanting this, and she saw I wanted this. I posted about it. She's like, I'll grab that for you. This doesn't look like a whole bunch. This is, in fact, an XLR dock that plugs into my Stream Deck. So this will combine with my Stream Deck Plus to turn it into essentially an all-in-one mixer and audio interface. And that means everything will be one thing. I'll have all the controls on there. It'll be its own mixer. It'll be its own. The monitor is a lot nicer because it's going to have faster response time. So normally when I try to monitor audio right now, there's enough of a delay that it fucks with me because I hear myself and then I hear myself. It's milliseconds later, but it's enough to make your brain go, stop it. So the latency is reduced considerably on this. Hey, it frees up a USB slot too, which is nice. So I'll be messing with this tomorrow. So that was nice of her. As for y'all folks, there's not going to do news this week per se. The only real news I was really looking around at is we have word that both the Intel's Battlemage GPUs and Radeon's, whatever they're called, AMD's 8000 series or 9000, whatever they're calling the next Radeon cards, are coming in a couple weeks, like very soon. So we'll talk about those fairly soon. Tonight, however, it is Cyber Monday Eve.
There is one other piece of mild news. Mellon has filed another lawsuit against OpenAI that hit Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
So they can eat themselves. That's fine.
Yeah. So tonight it is Cyber Monday Eve. And there are some deals remaining, and I wanted to take some time to talk about some that are left because people are asking a lot lately. What can I upgrade? What's a good deal? What blah, 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 blah. Now in the time I sent these to Mike today, some of them have expired. So I've had to update this because they sold out.
You didn't send me the update, did you?
I didn't, but because like it just happened. But don't worry, not a whole lot has shifted.
Now, and I will say, a couple of them may also not have expired. A couple of them may also have sold out.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go over these. So if you have an idea of you want something, a good value you can grab right now, keep in mind, not a lot of these are fantastic, but some of them are pretty good. And if you are in the market right now, it's a good time to get things before the year of hell begins. Yeah. So let's start with complete systems for desktop to begin with. And let's see. Newegg's house brand is called ABS. And they've got a bunch of their refurbished systems on sale right now. Now, because Newegg is the same company and they're doing refurbishment, that means they're supporting it and they've got their warranty and whatnot on it. So that's a pretty good deal right there. This one system I'm looking at is the ABS Challenger Gaming PC Intel i5-12400F with an RTX 3050. Now, this is not the biggest and baddest machine you could possibly get, but for $600 with 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte M.2, it's not bad. It's
some expansion capability. It comes with an operating system, doesn't come with a monitor.
Yeah, it's because, again, like we talked about last week, don't buy proprietary systems. This is a system that is using essentially off-the-shelf parts. Anything in this goes bad, it can be easily replaced and repaired. So for $600, it's a pretty good deal. It's for 1080p gaming, it's not terrible. It's going to be pretty decent. You have room to upgrade with it.
And they include, apparently, I'm basing this off the pictures here.
Mm-hmm.
They include a keyboard and a mouse, which a lot of bundles don't.
They're not great keyboard and mice, but it is a keyboard and mouse. It will work until you can grab something great. It's just their, basic but system that'll do it. There was one at Best Buy with laptops right now. We're hitting that point in the season where manufacturers and retailers are trying to liquidate their stock of previous gen laptops. Now, there's nothing wrong with those laptops. They're just the last year's model.
Yeah, and so they need to make space either on the shelves or in the warehouse for this year's model. So they go, what can we sell? Take 10, 15, 20% off of or more to move these out, make up space.
Now, there was Lenovo that was going, but it sold out completely. So this is the next best gaming laptop deal I could find out there. This is an MSI Cyborg 14-inch, 144 hertz monitor with a Core i7 and a RTX 4060 mobile 4060 for $750. That's $350 off the asking price. For the money, this is a really good gaming laptop. Heck, it's a good laptop for anybody because it's got discrete graphics and a Core i7. Even though it's mobile, it's still fairly robust. So it's a nice little system. It's at Best Buy for $750. Again, this is one of those things where prices are not been great lately. I would have preferred going with Lenovo because we've mentioned they've had an eye toward repairability lately, which is kind of nice, but that's gone. It's gone forever. So this is your next best option. MSI is not a bad brand. So that's one to think about there. Now we're going to get into parts, basic stuff. If you happen to be in the vicinity of a Micro Center, this is an incredible little bundle. I'm seeing it. Mike, I don't think there's any such. Am I wrong?
You're gonna have to finish a question here at some point.
Ah, that's right. The 7600 X3D. All right. It took me for a second to go, there is a 7600 X3D? Yes, there is. They haven't, this one kind of launched quietly and they haven't made a bunch of them, but it's a 6-core, 12-thread gaming CPU with AMD's X3D RAM on top of it. This is a nice little bundle here. It's got the 7600 X3D, a B650 motherboard. Yes, it's Asus, but it is a good deal. And it comes with 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 for only $450. This is pretty much everything you need to get your platform modern. Not only is the 7600 X3D an X3D CPU, and this, you'll have room to upgrade with this motherboard. You can drop in new CPUs later. But yeah, this is a good platform to move you off of AM4 or older system. If you've got something really, truly ancient, for $450, this brings you modern, just straight up modern. Considering it's a B650 motherboard and it's a 7600 X3D, those are relatively low power parts. So you're probably in a great, you won't need to upgrade your power supply. If you have the bare minimum is a 500 watt power supply these days. This will handle a 500 watt power supply, no problem. Because it's locked to 65 watts because it's first gen X3D. So this will do you for a good long while. This will give you a stepping stone. Looking at CPU deals, because this one is kind of excellent. If you are super butt broke and you're like, I can't do much else, I'm super broke. If you're on an older Ryzen CPU, first or second gen, or maybe even third gen, and you're looking for an upgrade, this is a maybe. The 5600X 6-core 12-thread for $105. This is kind of a maybe because depending on your generation, if you're on first or second generation Ryzen, this beats everything. Yeah. All of those are completely. Third generation, it might be marginal if you've got, say, like an 8-core third generation or 3000 series, I should say, or even a 6-core. It's kind of marginal. But if you're on something much older, this is good. It has a cooler included. It's a nice little deal. So if you just want to get as modern as you possibly can right now on a shoestring budget, this is a pretty good CPU. If you want something a little beefier, the 5700 X3D, which is another X3D gaming CPU, for AM4, older generation platform, that's going for $200, which is a nice deal considering the price of the 5800 X3D for a while there. And I don't think they can get that these days. It's probably very sold out. The 5700 X3D is not that much slower. It still has the extra X3D RAM, so you get the gaming performance benefits. I do not believe, does this one come with a cooler? I do not believe this one comes with a cooler, which is kind of a butt. That is kind of a stupid thing. Because again, this is a low profile, this is a low power wattage part comparatively. So they could, yeah, the basic cooler could have worked with this. Shame on you, AMD. But regardless, for $200 or under $200, this is a Femboy Connoisseur just got the R7 upgrade for 3600. Yeah, this is 8-core 16-thread. This is a good solid CPU to about as far as you can take platform AM4. Now, if gaming is not your big focus, you want to do kind of all around production and productivity tasks and gaming as well, a little bit of both.
Yeah. So, or the focus of your gaming is not the must have the absolute best I can afford.
The 5900X is only $226 now. It's down from $265, which is already, pretty cheap. This is a decent deal all around because it's 12 core, 16 thread, for productivity and gaming both. It has some advantages there.
This is in fact what I'm currently running. So
yeah, this is a good. Yeah, this is a good solid CPU. Comparatively, it's about as fast right now as a Ryzen 7 7800X. So it's still a fairly modernish CPU. It's competitive with current generation Ryzen, and yeah, this is about as far as you can take the platform with AM4. Now, there are like some little fringe Ryzen 5000 parts. It's like a 5900 XT and a 5950 XT. Don't worry about those. They just goose the clock speed just a tiny bit. The 5950X is about as far as you can take it, but that is $300 for a 16-core 32 thread. For a 12-core 24 thread for $225, that's a pretty good deal. So, for next generation Ryzen 5, they did have the Ryzen 5 7600X hovering under $200, but that completely sold out. So this is the next best option. It's the Ryzen 5 7600. Over on Newegg, it's got a $25 off promo code. So that brings this down to around $176, $178, which under $200 for the Ryzen 5 7600, about as good a price as you can get on that. The difference between the 7600 and the 7600X, the 7600X is clocked a little higher, and that's it. You can manually go into your BIOS yourself and set this precision boost overdrive, turn that on. Voila! If you don't want to mess around in your BIOS, simply download a little piece of software called Ryzen Master. It comes from AMD themselves, and you can turn on precision boost overdrive in Windows. Ta-da! It will function just about as fast as a 7600X. The difference is effectively negligible. So this is a pretty good deal for under $200. Now, if you're in the market going, well, I need something to put that in. I need a motherboard for that. This is about the best deal I found, which is not fantastic right now. This is a Gigabyte B650 Eagle AX AM5 for $140 at Newegg. Not a lot. The B650, even the B650 motherboards, not a lot of really good deals on Cyber Money. I was really disappointed to see that. There's an Asus B650E, but I wouldn't recommend you touch it because Asus is kind of a mess. For just basic B650, this has got a pretty decent heatsink, which means you can upgrade to something bigger later. So the VRMs will be properly cooled. So it'll handle that. You can drop in bigger CPUs later on down the line. It's got plenty of a USB. It's got modern ports. The only thing it's going to be missing is PCIe 5.0, but that's not a super huge issue yet. It will have just about every other feature you could want from a modern motherboard. And for having that for around $140 for a full-size motherboard with all those features, it's got 4 slots, which is PCIe slots, which is almost unheard of these days. In addition to also, I believe, is it 2 or 3 3 M.2 slots, which is super cool. So it's got plenty of storage upgrade ability. And it has 4 SATA ports too. So it's good.
One thing you may want to take note of course, is some motherboards will limit the PCIe lanes you get dependent on where you plug stuff in. So some of those lanes you may say it's PCIe times 16 for the video card, but it drops to times 8 if you use an M.2 here. Yeah,
you got to read the manual.
Now, that may be fine because I mean, even with even a PCIe 4 at 8 is pretty hard to saturate.
Yeah. So it's a little disappointing. I was hoping there was going to be some better B650 options, but there just simply weren't. It's unfortunate, but for
one thing I will note is that Newegg will put new stuff on sale basically every day for the next week or so, as part of an extended Black Friday through Cyber Monday stuff. So just keep an eye on stuff. Things change dramatically. They may go, oh yeah, no, we checked this corner of the warehouse. We found 50 of these.
Now, GPUs. This is another one that made me go, nothing really great here, but there are options. If you are in the market for just 1080p gaming, you just want a game on the system, however you can, but you don't have a lot of cash. This is there's an ASRock Challenger Arc A770 16 gig for only $230. Yes, it is Intel's Alchemist Arc GPU, but their drivers have come a long way. There are fewer and fewer games every day that have issues. This is a 16 gigabyte GPU for close to $200, about as close to between $250. That and is the fastest option, just about the fastest option for the first generation of Intel Arc you could get. It's not, again, it's not great. It is what it is. You can, of course, there's you can get an RX 6600 8 gig for less, but honestly, for this amount of RAM, for this amount of money, at this price point, this is your best option.
And also they draw a relatively low amount of power.
Oh yeah, compared
to everything else out there.
Yeah, they will still, like, I think you're gonna need at least, let's see, a 650 watt.
A 650, yeah.
A 650 watt power supply. But that's considerably lower than most are. This is pretty much a budget card, a super budget card, but it will do the games. If you want to do the games, this will do the games. If you want something more, but again, you're like, I would like something big and bad, but I do not have lots of monies. This might push your budget a bit, but it is an excellent deal. Another ASRock Challenger. This is an RX 7800 XT, which puts it really far along power-wise comparatively. This trades blows with an RTX 4070 Super for considerably less money, and more RAM. The only limitations here are it doesn't have DLSS, and its ray tracing compared to NVIDIA is not as good. That's it. For simple rasters, if you want to game high frame rate, high resolution, you want to play the games and you want them to look good, this is really good for $450.
Now, to talk power again, it's a slightly bigger power supply that you'll need. 750 watts is the recommended, but that's okay.
Yeah, power-wise...
This can theoretically handle 4K.
Oh, yeah. Well, it can definitely handle 4K. You're going to get 4K, at least 4K 60 frames per second with most games. Might have turned down a few settings, but not many. This is a fairly powerful GPU, comparatively, even in the face of Radeon. So this will get you there for a decent, affordable price, even though it's at $450 compared to, like, NVIDIA's prices are crazy. Like RTX 4070 or 4070 Super. This is actually, in a lot of ways, some ways it's faster, but still, It's
and the reviews on it are pretty good. The most common complaint seems to be that occasionally the fans are really loud.
Yeah, it's only a 2-fan card, which is the limitation on it. 3-fan cards tend to be cooler because there's more fans running, so they don't all have to run as fast. But even still, it's a deal. If you want the performance, here's the performance. For storage, Western Digital, this is about the best I could find, a 4 terabyte SSD for $250.
Gen 4, but that's okay because most people aren't using Gen 5.
Guess what?
What?
They ran out. Is it goodbye? Oh, goodbye. Never mind.
Hold on.
This one's gone.
No. Let me correct you there, Nash. Let me hit refresh, just in case. It says back ordered. That is different than sold out. Let me explain. When Newegg says sold out, they say we don't think we're going to get any more of these.
Okay.
Back ordered is we're pretty sure we're going to get more of these, so you can order this and we will honor the price.
Okay, well there's that. For 4 terabyte PCIe 4.0 Western Digital, it's very fast. It's very big. This is if you were looking for one SSD to rule them all. This will pretty much handle it. Keep in mind, 8 terabyte stuff is still stupid expensive right now. It's available, but it's like over $500.
If you want 8 terabytes, check your motherboard, see if it has 2 M.2 slots. You can get 2 4 terabytes for cheaper than 1 8 terabyte.
Yeah, the 1 8 terabyte is like $550. 2 4 terabytes are $250. So, yeah.
Each.
Understand, that's 64% off. Understand that price has already come down a lot. That's the original MSRP. So don't pay a lot of mind to that $700 price tag. The SSDs have fallen a lot. Now, if you need raw storage and you're not as concerned about speed, say we're talking about stuff like just data, media files, just a cache for Adobe Premiere, just space. There is a 12 terabyte. Come on, there you go. Iron Wolf 12 terabyte NAS hard drive. 7,200 RPM, 256 cache. So it's cache. It's fairly fast for what it is. It's a SATA drive. It's old style, but it's big for $200. 12 terabytes. If you just need space and you're not concerned about gaming or speed, performance, operating system programs, those don't go on this. This is just for raw data. If you need if you like setting up a media server, if you just want a place to have a backup drive, kind of thing.
You need data, but you don't care about speed.
This is big is a chungus. For $200, 12 terabytes. This is a chungus. And keep in mind, for $50 more, you can go up to $250 if you really wanna. $250 for a 16 terabyte. So these are pretty good deals for storage. Ginormous. Just keep in mind, these are not for games. These are for if you want someplace to rip your Blu-rays.
Let me make one minor correction there. These are not for modern games. If you want to put all your retro games on there, they'll be fine.
I mean, you could like older, and we say older, just like games for like 2020 earlier can still run off of these. I didn't realize this last week when I was poking around at it. I still had Red Dead Redemption 2 on my data drive, which is it's not this size, but it's same kind, it's spinning hard drive. It loaded not super fast, but it still loaded and ran. So they will unless a game specifically calls for an SSD, most of them will still run off drives like this, just not recommended. Still, big boy.
And as we talked about last week, there are games that will absolutely say no SSD required. And that is true.
Yeah. Now, some of you are out there saying, Nash, I have no money. Well, we have something even for you who have no money. Star Trek Online, it's free to play, has a special going on right now. You can get a free tier 6, which is about the top level starship. In the game, it is a T6 Ferengi Nagus Marauder battle cruiser with a gold-plated ship customization, which is pretty cool. Some outfits and pretty much everything you need to set you up to start playing the game for free. You don't have to spend a dime. Just make an account. That's all you have to do. And Star Trek Online, yeah, there is a lot of monetization in it because, well, that's kind of, they've been pushed to it. But you can play it all without having to spend any money. You really don't have to spend anything. You can play the whole game without that. The main appeal to it is it has storylines featuring voice acting from members of the Star Trek cast from all generations, from the original series on through the Discovery and Picard and all that stuff, all the new stuff, all of it, all generation. It's all there to be had. And they have, expanded storylines based off of the shows and stuff. It's a lot of fun to play through, and with all, yeah. You don't, and again, don't have to spend a dime, and they're giving you this nice free ship with little, bonuses and other things on it. Doesn't cost you a dime, but it is really neat. So, and if you're already playing Star Trek Online, it's a nice one to add to your collection of ships. So, okie dokie. That is all the Cyber Monday, all the roundup and the deals we could find to help you out. Hopefully that will get you, something to help you out this week. Again, it was hard pressed to find stuff. Things were either sold out, or the deal was over, or just the deals were not great. So we did what we could. We just the best we could. All right, let's get to your questions now. Again, you send those to requests@radiodeadair.com. Diego's got a quick one here, hopefully a quick one. Why is it important for SSDs to have DRAM? The motherboard on my new PC has 2 M.2 slots. I made sure to get an SSD with DRAM to put my boot games drive. Should I also get one with DRAM for my storage drive, or should I get a DRAM-less drive with more space for cheaper? Okay, Diego. Well,
depends on what you're primarily going to be using that drive for. If it basically you're going to write a bunch of stuff there and you're only ever going to read off of it again, maybe that's okay.
Back up. Got to explain things to people, man. What we're talking about here is M.2 SSD drives come in 2 flavors, and they don't always announce this.
No.
The first one is ones that have a DRAM cache on them, a little bit of extra RAM, because your SSD, well, it's got 3 parts technically if we talk about the RAM. Basic drives only have 2. The parts on an SSD are the flash memory, the stuff that actually has the data. There's a couple little chips there that that you can write and read to. There's the controller. It's a little system on a chip, a little CPU on the SSD that actually does the reading and writing. And then there's sometimes some drives have them, some don't. They add a little bit of RAM there for the controller on the SSD. The reason it's there is it allows the drive to access the data on it. It allows your system to access the data on the drive a little bit faster, considerably faster in some cases. While you won't notice a big difference, you will still notice a big difference coming from an old spinning hard drive. putting a drive that doesn't have DRAM on it next to one that does, there is a noticeable difference in speed. And that's why you'll see a lot of these SSDs without DRAM. You'll see a lot of, like, they don't announce it very loudly. They'll just sell these SSDs very cheap. And you'd be like, wow, that's a great deal for an SSD. Everybody else is selling it for way more. Why is it so cheap? And it's because they don't put DRAM on the drive. Yeah. They still work. They just don't have any data cache on there to read from. As a storage drive, if you're not good, I mean, you can get one. It will be faster than a spinning drive, and it will be more reliable than a spinning drive because it has no mechanical parts. It can't just break. There's that. However, money-wise, pound for pound, you will get, if you're just getting this for a storage drive, even though an SSD is more reliable, there's no point. Because if you're talking like data files, if you're talking media files, if you're talking just like storage, and you're not running programs off of the drive, you're still paying a premium for a storage drive. Now, I mean, you're like, I need to have it fast. Okay, that, like, there are valid reasons for that. There, some folks need fast storage for video editing and for other applications that directly call for it. But if it were me and I was in this position, I had the choice between, well, you know what? And there's the other thing, it's the reliability thing. If you're really concerned about reliability, but per terabyte basis, dollar per terabyte, spinning drives are more affordable. Even the smaller ones, comparatively, it will be like, $50 for a spinning drive. The same size SSD might be $150. So it's not, you have to decide which is more important to you. And if you want like a cost to performance ratio, if you have to decide which one. SSDs are always going to be more reliable overall. Even the ones without the DRAM on them, they're more reliable because no moving parts. They can, any drive, any component can fail, but in your system, anything that has a motor, a moving part, anything that has motion going to it is more likely to fail than something that doesn't. So you have to take that into consideration. So if you, like, I have a regular old style hard drive for a backup drive. It's outside of my system and it stays turned off.
Yeah.
And even
I've got
then,
several in my closet.
And even then, that can still just sitting there like that. It can
go bad.
Yeah. So
the bearings can seize up. They can, yeah.
So SSDs are more reliable that way, but they're still more expensive. So it's, matter of trade-off.
Eventually we'll get to the point where the only people buying spinning hard drives will be data centers and not even all of them.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Hello, Nash, Mike, and all sort of floofs. My sister wants to get a laptop so she can do her art projects away from her desk, mainly drawing stuff for herself on commission. She also wants a game on it. She doesn't do play heavy stuff, mostly Final Fantasy 14, but some newer games have caught her interest. Below, I'll link a couple of laptops I looked up for her. The MSI is the best touchscreen laptop I found. It doesn't work great for her because she wants something that can fold into tablet form, and that's a bit more convenient for her, but had the best stats. Lenovo is the best of the rest that I found. Question is, you think the Lenovo can suit her purposes, or can you recommend alternative? Let me see what what we have here. Okay, the MSI. No, let's see. Where's the Lenovo?
He doesn't link a Lenovo.
He did not link the Lenovo. No Lenovo. Where's the Lenovo? Let me see. Okay, here it is. I've got. It didn't take. Here, let me send you the link as well.
Okay, you didn't link the Lenovo.
I didn't link because it was further down the page. I didn't see it. There you go. Is it Lenovo? There it is. And a whoop and a whoop and a whoop. put this over here. All right. So the first one of these two options we have is MSI Creator Z16 HX Studio, Core i9 13900X, an RTX 4060 for $1,600, and sale ends in 5 hours. Oh, so that's got it. There's a clock ticking on that one. No, go back.
Yeah. I mean, so I've talked garbage about Lenovo before. They've done a lot of shady things in the past, but Nash has pointed out that they haven't been caught at anything recently. And I emphasize,
well, this is the MSI first. This is the MSI first.
Yeah, I don't like the MSI.
You don't like the MSI?
I don't like the MSI. When we're talking about someone doing art projects and needing the more tablet format, that one is really not going to work for them.
Yeah, but the Lenovo Flex, this one they're looking at, this is an ancient.
It is
ancient one. This is a Ryzen 5 4500, which is a few generations back. It's using DDR4, and it has no built-in GPU.
The gaming on that is minimal.
Dog crap. Yeah, the Flexes and the Yogas from Lenovo are not built with performance in mind. They are, in my experience, the Lenovo Flexes and Yogas, that they're called that way because you can flip them around and you can turn it from a laptop to a tablet, blah blah blah. They're mainly form over function. They do not perform as well as otherwise. I don't tend to like them. And also, because they're gimmicky, because they do the fold up and they're little transformers, that's more points of failure on these.
Yeah. I'm honestly not sure right now that there is a good solution for her.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a Microsoft Surface something, but yeah.
It's honestly, she'd have a better time and affordably, if you have a budget of 2,000, which I know she didn't want to spend that up to, but getting a laptop. In fact, the laptop we saw earlier, this one from MSI, from Best Buy, the one that's on sale for $750. That's not a bad one. This, and then get a drawing tablet separate, because getting the 2-in-1, you're going to have compromises on both.
Yeah.
And some things you just cannot cram them together and get all of the functionality you want. You'd be better off getting something like a Wacom, or I'm not sure, a Surface. Haven't kept up with the competition on that, but you'd be better getting a dedicated device for drawing. Yeah, laptop you can plug a drawing tablet into would be better. Yeah. Combining them. The other thing is, and this is something that Randy Milholland, he does something positive, he's experiencing right now. Randy had for a long time done the all-in-one. He had a Microsoft Surface Pro that was his tablet and his computer. And now it's goofed up. It's broken. And there's a problem with it. The screen, there's some pixels. It's not reading the touch like it should. It's got some phantom inputs. It's a problem. Now he's kind of up a creek. He's gone back to actually using pen and paper for the moment while he tries to figure out what to do. If you never want to put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to stuff that is vital for money and productivity. And the convertible laptops, the other thing about, that's how many times, Mike, and you work on these too when you at work, how many times have you dealt with a laptop where the hinges just freaking snapped?
Hinges only once or twice, but it has happened.
You use Office stuff. Never mind. You use office built laptops mostly.
Yeah. We more often
Those
have
have more
busted
reliable-
screens, or someone dropped it and the keyboards have keys pop off. There have been a couple hinges issues. It's
Hinges,
not common.
it's the enterprise laptops, those are stronger. The home user laptops, those hinges, they're garbo. They use plastic, not metal. I mean, most of the hinges I see on enterprise laptops are reinforced with metal hinges. Consumer level, use plastic hinges. That's so stupid, because that is the part of the laptop that has the most stress on it constantly, mechanical stress. You don't put plastic there. What are you doing? Sorry. Anyway, to back on the point, never mind. Those yogas that don't get all-in-ones for this purpose. Find what you could probably find a good performing gaming laptop with dedicated graphics for a better price, and then a tablet, and you probably still come in under the $2,000. Just I know having them both together is kind of neat, but what's on offer is just not really great right now. All right, next question. Let's see. We got a couple this week. Let's see. Okay, we had that. All right, this is from Nancy. She says, we're pressed for money this year, but I've got an Intel 8600K with a RTX 2060. I want to pass down to my cousin for the holidays. Still in good shape, and there's nothing weird about it, and it's a bits power machine, so I'm pretty sure it's non-proprietary, so they can upgrade it later. Yes, this is all good things. Is there anything I need to know about how to prepare it for someone else? Do I have to replace the hard drive, or is the existing SSD still going to be good? And when I last turned it on, it was running Windows 10. Can I upgrade to Windows 11 even if I format it? Ooh, a lot of questions. Okay. For preparation for, all right, the hard drive is
all your Windows updates.
Yeah, well, the hard drive is kind of the issue here. SSDs do not have an infinite lifespan. The more you read and write the flash memory on them, they wear down over time. And the tricky part is the longevity of the drive is based on how much reading and writing has been done. Oh, Athen, good. Glad you just like that. Helped anyway. With some SSDs, depending on the make and model, will have software that will tell you how much has been written and read to it. I have one called Samsung Magician, which is specifically for my Samsung SSDs. You might have to find out what type of SSD you're running, who made it. Let's see, Samsung Magician. Open this up. Wow, that's very large. Larger than it should be right now. I'm looking at mine right now. It is I've got a 2 terabyte for my OS drive. Yeah, I've written 17 terabytes to it in about 2-ish years I've had this drive. And that's still considered pretty good. Cause let's see, what's the SSD? Where? How long? Let's get a general ballpark. Let's see.
So SSDs have a spec depending on the vendor of
Right.
drive writes per day or terabytes written. And that's how much they can take before they will theoretically, well, that'll be before you start having to worry.
Yeah. Generally, however, my recommendation here, 2 things first. It's still running Windows 10. There's a little bit of software you can grab that is called Magical Jelly Bean Key Finder. And it is free. I put it over here on the screen so we find it. There it is. what this does, the software, is designed to look through Windows and get your product keys. And so you can write those down. Considering SSD drive wear, considering also erasing the drive and blanking it, it's just going to be more drive wear on it. The price of a 1 terabyte SSD has come way down since this system came out. So that's not a bad idea just to grab a new drive altogether for this. Like $50, $40 to $50 for a decent, like a Western Digital Blue SSD. And what you'll want to do first is turn on the system, run the system, go into Windows 10, look for the Windows key, your product key with Magical Jelly Bean. Write that down or copy into the cloud or something, whatever. Write it down. Then,
no, this is not the key that shows up when you do like Windows E and right click on this PC.
It's different.
Yeah.
Copy down your product ID, the product key for Windows. Then take a USB stick, go to Microsoft's website and download the Windows 11 installer. Put the new drive in there, run the Windows 11 installer, use your Windows 10 key. It will let you install Windows 11 off a Windows 10 key. They still do that. That hasn't changed yet. So using that key, you can install a brand new, fresh, never been touched installation of Windows 11. That's a better option. You can, if you want to, format that SSD and do the same thing we just talked about. I'm just saying the age of it, it's 5-ish years or so, because 8600, i5 8600 is about 5 years back.
Sounds about right.
So 5 or 6, something like that. So you can do it. Just understand that eventually the drive will stop reading and writing and it will stop working altogether. And if you're passing this on to someone else, you can give it some more longevity.
You don't want that to happen by January is what we're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a better idea. Otherwise, good on you for keeping old hardware in use. Don't throw things out that are still perfectly good. RTX 2060, i5 8600K. Yeah, that's a fine system these days. It's not the
part of it depends on what the cousin is into, but yeah.
All right. This is got a lot more. Okay, we're gonna do them all. This is from Craig.
Who is Canadian?
Long-time watcher, first-time caller. Well, thank you. Kind of hope I could hold off on buying a new computer for a bit, but because of certain events from November, I feel like I'm going to have to expedite the process. I'm Canadian, but any tariffs from down south could potentially get downloaded here into things like electronics anyway. Such, I'm putting together a parts list that I'm looking to put into a build. I already have a video card for my current computer, MSI RX 6750 XT. Not bad. Secondary drive, SSD 870 Evo 2 terabyte. Okay, that's not that old. Let's see what parts you are looking. All right, let's bring it over here and just give it a once over. Is it put it on the big one? All right, you're looking to get a Ryzen 7 7700. Yeah, it's pretty good. 8-core 16 thread. If you could afford it, it's only $60 more. Well, actually, no. Now, considering that price cut on the 7600, it's about $80 more than the 7600, but you do get 2 extra cores. You get more performance out of it. So, yeah. Arctic MX6. Yeah, that's fine. B650 Eagle gigabyte. Yeah, it's not a B650E, but that's that one for 140 I was just talking about. That's a good deal.
64 gigs of memory, that's good.
Corsair DDR5 6400. Yeah, you might not. Yeah, 6400 will be fine. I was like, you won't have to slow that down. It'll be fine. 1 terabyte Western Digital Black for $80. That's good. No qualms there. Western Digital for, yeah, it's good stuff. Lee & Lee 011 Air Mini. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the minis myself, but if you are looking to get a mini, that's not a bad idea.
Just keep in mind that the smaller the case, the more futzing around with fitting everything in there you're going to have to do. It can get awkward, and you can sit there and go, why is this? I can't run this cable anywhere but here, and that's going to be bad. So,
Corsair RM850E, fully modular. Yeah, Corsair makes decent power supplies. Corsair Seasonic, starts with an A. Acer? I forget which one. But yeah, Corsair, Seasonic are pretty leading brands, so that's not bad. Yeah,
how do you feel about Be Quiet as a power supply brand?
Oh yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They've got a good reputation on them. I don't think about them first for power supplies a lot. I mainly think about them for fans, but they make power supplies and they make reliable stuff. So, yeah, I let's see.
I mean, that looks like a reasonably solid build. I'd be okay with this. That's just under 1,100.
Yeah, I mean, you're Corsair at 64 gigs. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
The only thing I would possibly consider is maybe a slightly more efficient power supply. Maybe if you could bump it up one level, but may not be in your budget.
Yeah. Gold certified. If you can get something like platinum certified, that would be nice, but gold's pretty good. So yeah, that for the money, you've got some pretty good deals on there. That's going to last you for a while. You can also upgrade the CPU later. So yeah, you're looking pretty good money wise. I mean, yeah.
So the one thing I don't see here.
Mm-hmm.
Does that CPU come with a built-in fan? I guess it does, because that box is huge in that picture. Does that CPU come with a fan?
Yeah, that one comes with a cooler. The 65 watt parts for the first generation of AM5.
Yes, includes cooler. There we go.
Yeah, the 65 watt parts, that's the 7700 and the 7600. Those include coolers. The 100 watt parts and the more powerful ones they expect you to get a third party cooler. So yeah, those are included. You can, so yeah, you're looking pretty good there. Last one is from Cecil. Another one. Oh no, two. Never mind.
Yeah, because I knew it wasn't the last one.
Yeah. Cecil here says, budget's 1 to 2K. What recommendations do you guys have for updating the build for upcoming years? All right, let's go over here to yours. Recommendations. First of all, you have about a $2,000 budget. $1,000. Well, let's try and keep it down to $1,000 to $2,000. All right. You're gonna want to go to AM5 because you're on a Ryzen 7 2700X. So, that's going to be memory, motherboard, and CPU. Processor. Yeah. If you can.
You may want to go an all-in-one cooler on that, but if you go with the CPU that the previous guy used, that's you're using enough. Well, comes with a cooler.
Even still, you're right now that Dark Rock Pro 4 that'll run on an AM5 socket. That's a big boy. That's a chungus.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a 120 and a 140 cool. That is a pretty good cooler. No need. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a pretty good one. I keep that.
Fair enough.
I'd go with Ryzen AM5. You want to get at least DDR5 6000 for speed and at least 32 gigs. And remember, whenever possible, only get kits that are 2 sticks. Don't populate all the memory slots because then the RAM has to run slower unless you need like bigger. 1 terabyte and even 2 terabyte SSDs have come down considerably. So the 500 gigabyte, that's one to look at. Your case is still great. Your case is still good. Power supply is only a 550 watt. That's going to have to move up.
In this case, I would say, did we tell him a video card yet?
No, not yet. 800 watt, 750 watt power supply. It's about middle of the road. 750 to 800 watt power supply.
Yeah.
Is
And
what
I
I'd
would
recommend.
definitely try to go above bronze just to save your power bills.
For graphics card, you're running on a 1060 right now, so pretty much anything you get is going to be amazing. But this is a question of what matters to you. This is what it all comes down to. NVIDIA has better ray tracing and it has DLSS. DLSS is resolution scaling that allows for dynamic resolution scaling that allows you to run games faster and look better, but it's proprietary. AMD has their own version of it called FSR. It's pretty good, but DLSS is much better. You can only get DLSS on NVIDIA GPUs. FSR can run on anything.
However, NVIDIA cards are significantly more expensive right now than AMD cards.
Yeah. With the price range you were
and significantly more power hungry.
Yeah. Keep in mind, you can get an RTX 4060 with the budget you're talking about here, that's about $300, and that's pretty good and gives you access to DLSS. Or you could, for about the same money, you can get, let's see what the 7700 XT is going. RX 7700 XT is, yeah, for the same money, about the same money, you get an RX 7700 XT from AMD. It's going to be loads faster than the 4060. And it also has more RAM on it as well. I think it's 16 gigs of 12 gigs, sorry. It's going to have more RAM than the 4060 by 4 gigs, which means you can load higher resolution textures and yeah. So I would think about between the two in your price range with the other stuff you have to upgrade as well. It would be between the 4060 and the 7700 XT. You have to decide what matters more to you. Understand that at this price range, though, ray tracing is not going to be, is significantly going to slow things down because it's not powerful enough at the entry level. So you might want to lean toward the 7700 XT just for raw power. That's up to you. What was the other thing I was thinking about? Oh yeah, you want to get a monitor here too, which is another reason I'm going for the lower end GPU costs. Pretty much whatever you get in a monitor, I would, number one, and Hardware Unboxed has been looking at this over a period of months. OLED. Don't get an OLED computer monitor. For one very simple reason, they burn. They have burn-in. Something we haven't had to deal with monitors since the freaking 90s, early 2000s, with CRT monitors. OLED is great for stuff like video games and watching media, because those are in constant motion. But you can't use an OLED for productivity or everyday monitor because you normally have windows just hanging around on the screen, like if you're web browsing or something. And while there are mitigation technologies built in, eventually OLED will suffer burn-in. Then Hardware Unboxed has been testing this. They've been using a OLED monitor for a productivity monitor for over a year now and just going ham on it as hard as they can. And it does show signs of burn-in. Now, the burn-in hasn't gotten super severe, but it's noticeable. And in my mind, the money you'd spend for an OLED monitor, it's crazy to accept burn-in because that affects the overall longevity of the monitor. Monitors are something that people keep the longest of all their stuff because a lot of people don't see, the monitor is not going to get any faster. Actually, yeah, it can. But regardless, I wouldn't get an OLED. There are other things to look for. If you want some of the properties of OLED, mini LED has that as an option. I've looked into those sort of monitors. Those have The advantage of LED is an OLED can turn off. So you get better, deeper contrasting black color. As opposed to LED, which has these backlights on it. And normal LED monitors, IPS in-plane switching LED monitors, have constant one big backlight. And that, makes it hard to get better contrasting blacks. Mini LED, what they do is instead of having one big backlight, they have tons of tiny little LED backlights. And it has zones that it can shut off the backlights to give you better contrasting black colors. Now, it doesn't work as well as OLED, but it works pretty good. It's more affordable than OLED, and they don't burn in. So if that's what you're looking for a gaming monitor, otherwise, just basically IPS is still pretty good. Good deals to be had on those. Whatever you get, make sure it's 120 hertz refresh rate or higher. Refresh rate dictates how many frames per second you can see on screen. Like if it's 120, if the refresh rate is 120 hertz, then the max it can display is 120 frames per second. 144 hertz, 144 frames per second. They're directly tied together. Nothing in 2024, 2025, nothing slower than 120 hertz, plain and simple. So, and yeah, I think that's everything we'd cover for you. All right, one last question. Deceptively simple here. This is from Jay. My household is in the market for tablets. I poked around a bit. Was wondering your thoughts and opinions on any good picks. I've got a couple, and it's a matter of it depends.
I mean, you don't say what you're going to be using the tablets for. I mean, if it's just, I have a tablet, I'm reading ebooks, or are you browsing on the web? What are you doing with the tablet? It's kind of important.
First things to look at is the Pixel tablet, which good news is they're on sale. Google's Pixel tablets are pretty dang good on the Android side of things. I mean, you could just go with an iPad, but those are not very efficient financially. These are on sale for $279, which is still a lot, but it's down from $399. They use Google Silicon, which is their own designed ARM CPUs, which are pretty decent. The same ones they use in their phones. It has the same longevity of upgrades for Android, which it's got support range. Why is the discount, you might be asking? Well, they haven't done very well. So Google is getting out of the tablet market. Again, this is like the second time they've tried this, and it's kind of flopped. So Google's stepping away from tablets. This is the Pixel tablet this is first and last generation of it. You'll still have the support on it. You'll still have additional upgrades of Android operating system. They'll keep adding to it, but they're just not making any more of them. This is for $279. This is kind of a good premium 120 gigs of storage. Yeah, this is a pretty good premium device on the higher end. Another option is Samsung, and they've got a lot of Black Friday sales on this. Their Galaxy Tab series, the A9 Plus, pretty good. Do not go with the $140 model because that's only 4 gigs of RAM. Don't do that. There's an 8 gig model for $199 for $200, which is cheaper than the Pixel. The only downside here is I don't trust Samsung. I've dealt with them before, and they have a nasty habit of dropping support for devices. So it's up to you if you want to roll the dice on this. For support, the Pixel is kind of the gold standard, I guess you'd say, for Android, because Galaxy Tab, the other problem with Samsung is while the Pixel is essentially mostly vanilla Android, Samsung packs in a lot of crap that they don't let you uninstall, which sucks. So you have to wrestle with that as well. Me personally, this is the one I got. And understand there are some risks involved in doing this. This is an AGM Pad P2. If you've never heard of this, it's because it's a no-name little Chinese Android tablet. But for the money, it's got some really nice features. It has a GPS. It has Wi-Fi. It's got a 90 hertz screen, which is pretty nice too. 1920 by 1200, so it's full HD, high definition. The speakers on it are pretty nice, and it's got an SD slot, so I can add more storage, which I did. I slipped in. It's got storage. I was given. Yeah, I got this from Amazon. It was like I did a survey and they said, "Here, have a tablet," which
and
puts
you. Were
you.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The other nice thing it's got an eSIM slot. So, and what I did with my, I have Google Fi. They send you a free eSIM if you have an expansion device or something. It doesn't use calls, just data. But this has data. I could travel with this tablet, go out in public, and it'll have its own data. I don't even need to hook it up to Wi-Fi or anything. So that's a nice little feature. The camera's pretty good. It's got dual cameras. Now, I don't expect this to get a ton of Android upgrades going forward. Okay. So this has maybe got another 2 or 3 years with security updates. Maybe.
Now, I'm going to say something here.
Huh.
I have an Android tablet. It's well past its update thing. You know what I do with it? Not connect it to anything network-wise.
Yeah.
It is literally, I'm doing a chore somewhere in the house. Music is loaded on this, and it plays music.
For what it is, for $170, this is pretty nice. You will get some support for it. It has downloaded. I've noticed it's downloaded security updates, so it is doing that a little bit. And the battery life is pretty good on it. So if you're really strapped and you just want tablet that just does things, this for $170, that's a good deal. For one with an established name on it that's got some bloatware, if you're willing to put up with that, it's going to have more support, although it is Samsung. So for $200, the Tab A9 Plus, it's not bad. And the best one you could get right now for Android is that Pixel tablet, and for $280 on sale. That's a really good deal for what that tablet offers. If I had to buy one right now, if I had my choice, this is the one I would go with. Because I've had a good experience with Pixel phones, and as a tablet, I would expect to have that, would continue as well. They're already they had a rose one. I guess that one's out of stock now. This one's called Porcelain, which I don't know why you would use the word porcelain as a color, because the first thing I think about when you say porcelain is toilet. I don't know why you would do that. Like there's hazel and there's porcelain, and that's a terrible name for a color. It's just call it eggshell. Just something like, don't call it white. Don't call it porcelain. Because now I'm thinking about pooping. Of course, most people use the tablet on the pooper, so Take that as you will. All right, that's going to do it for us for this week, everybody. Thank you for all your questions, so many, which I love having them. Means you're out there and you're paying attention, you like our stuff, so I'm happy to have you here. We'll be back. Do you have anything else tonight?
No, nothing to add.
We'll be back next week, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have tech questions, please send those to request@radiodeadair.com or simply put them in the YouTube comments. Please smash that like and subscribe button because we can tell you how to fix them. No,
I was
really,
wondering where that was going to go.
Please like and subscribe. Anyway, folks, for Mike and myself, we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.